Protagonists are one of the most important components in anime, other than a hot-looking waifu of course, but after that I argue the MC is what matters most, above the animations and the supporting characters, other than the waifu. The MC determines how the anime is perceived by people. Is it a good anime or a bad one? The protagonist holds a lot of responsibility when it comes to enhancing the viewer's enjoyment of that particular show. So the million-dollar question is, what makes a good anime protagonist? For more videos like these, I'd really appreciate it if you'd subscribe. I have 3 reasons or traits that's needed in a protagonist in order to make them somewhat likable and watchable as well. And I'll use the most broken MC of all, Kirito. Just look at Kirito from SAO. Though the entire show has a lot of problems, Kirito's up there in the severest of issues. He's just boring to look at. He looks like your average dude in the background of every high school anime.
He's so ugly! I love him!
Which brings me to my first trait, the MC has to be unique with his design. Looking at Kirito, he's so generic, mundane, and when he's overpowered at the same time, it doesn't really make any sense when your character looks like a side character but then is defeating these OP villains and gaining a beautiful harem while doing so. Characters need to be unique. I'm not saying make them look totally different, but the accessories the characters wear will determine our first impression of them, where we can tell who's the main character without thinking too hard. Just look at these 3 girls from Toradora. Now which do you think is the more significant character? Many of you might have said the blue-haired girl, which is correct, but I'd also argue that a good portion of you said the other 2. There's a divide among you because the characters' designs don't indicate who is more significant. If I were to show you these 2 characters, almost all of you would pick Deku as the MC because of his trademark green hair. Okay, let's say Kirito has a unique one-of-a-kind style. He still lacks depth in his characteristics, which brings me to my second trait. A good protagonist needs good ideology and personality in order to be more than just pixels on a screen and become 3-dimensional. Kirito lacks this ideology and is very dumb in that aspect. Say he's being bashed by someone, all he has to do is think about his friends and suddenly he's the most overpowered character ever. This kind of ideology is very unrealistic, even in terms of anime. Sure, friends can be a motivation, but if that's the case then why not think about your friends in order to power up before the fight starts? Naruto vs Neji is a great example of doing this correctly. Naruto, before the fight starts, he has a goal which is to avenge Hinata, who was beaten by Neji. His strength didn't just appear out of nowhere, but actually came from a cause and effect, and vice versa. Kishimoto wrote this scene perfectly. Not just Kishimoto, any good shonen author creates characters that have at least a small grasp of their ideology, whether they consciously know it or not. What are they fighting for? The MC has to know before they fight. An MC needs good ideology, but the author has to insert these ideas in where it makes sense, and just inserting them for the heck of it can be very contradicting to the story, and just unnecessary in the first place. Kirito's battles are just way too childlike. His ideology doesn't make sense, making him way too predictable. Not predictable to the characters in the show, but predictable to the viewers watching it. This brings me to the third and last trait a character needs to be great rather than good, which is unpredictability. Kirito's actions are just way too predictable. I know I'm just nitpicking at this point, but these small differences are what makes the great MCs far superior than the good or mediocre ones. A character like Luffy is what I'd call a great character. He doesn't go on winning streaks all day long, but he realizes his position and that he needs to improve his fighting. I can't just think about his friends being in danger in order to get an insane power-up. This inevitability gives us the feeling of anticipation of what's going to happen next. All this and more by just giving the MC more control over his future. This is not an easy feat as a writer, I would know with my crap English marks. But anyway, to recap, a good protagonist needs a good design and good ideology or mindset, and lastly, can't be predictable. Characters need these 3 traits for not just anime but anything realistically. Even in real life, minus the design, you don't really need to look appealing in real life. For more videos just like this and more, please subscribe if you're new and give me a like to boost my ego while you're at it. I'm Donald Trunks and bye.